Hello, everybody, and welcome to this short video, Be a Better Communicator, Manage Your Cognitive Bias. We are going to look at becoming a better communicator by managing one of our bias, uh, a thinking bias. So I have a couple of questions. My first question to you is, can you think of a song you have misheard the lyrics to? Have you been listening to a song and liking it and then realized much later that you heard the wrong words? The words aren't what you thought they were. If you have, please type them in the comments section. Please share it with us so that we also know which songs you misheard. I have one example. There is this very popular song called We Are Going to Ibiza by Venga Boys, and I would mishear the lyrics to that. It says in the song, We are going to Ibiza, we are gonna have a party in the Mediterranean Sea. And I would hear, We are going to eat pizza. And then when I sang, We are going to eat pizza, we are going to have a party, everyone laughed their heads off and had a lot of fun. And only then I realized that I was hearing it wrong all the time. If you have thought of the ones that you had made mistakes with, please type it in for us. And I will come back to this. I have another question for you. Do you remember, have you ever participated in this game called Chinese Whispers, where we whisper into a friend's ear and they pass on what they have heard from us? And it goes on like that until the person who's last in the line tells it out loud. If you have, you will remember that a word can be substituted with another. So sometimes an unfamiliar word is substituted with a word which is familiar while you're playing this game. If you haven't played, don't worry. Try it with some friends or family members. You can take a simple sentence but put in some unfamiliar word in it. For example, a well-dressed turtle went to the airport in a toga. If toga is an unfamiliar word, it might get substituted by another familiar word, or it might get left off altogether. So if you try it, let us know what happened. It would be fun to know that. So what happens? To be a better communicator, it is necessary that when we communicate, we should know what others we are communicating with are feeling, what are they thinking, and what they know. That helps us communicate our message to them better. And all of this is affected by our own thinking, which is definitely shaped by our experiences. What we experience shapes our thinking, right? So communication may be affected by our thinking. In the first instance, I told you about mishearing lyrics of a popular song, substituting pizza for Ibiza. What happened there? In my head, my knowledge was that you eat pizza at a party, and I have used that, that experience, that information that I have, and use that familiar information in the place of the lyrics of that song. That's what I have done. So, similarly, communication may be affected by any bias we have. No? So, what is bias? Bias is any type of prejudice that we have. Prejudice, I think, is munnavidi in Malayalam. Munnavidi. And please do correct my pronunciation if I'm wrong, or if there are any other words for it, please let me know in the comments section. It may be something that is not objective. The prejudice is not objective. It is coming from your either your experience or whatever information you have or whatever you've seen or noticed, right? It may not necessarily be objective. And it may be completely unconscious and we don't know about it at all. We don't know we have it, but it is there. So, for example, thinking that someone from a particular college, some person A goes to XYZ college, then they have very good work related skills. Maybe they are a great debater. You think that. but that may not be true. So if person X has gone to PQR college, does not mean that they will be good at one particular thing, for example, debating. Similarly, if you have not gone to that college, you may still be good at it. So we don't know. So this is an example, a very simple example of a similarity bias, or a bias actually that we have. Let us come to similarity bias. Similarity bias affects how we listen to others. When we are listening to others to be a better communicator, this is one bias that will affect that. In very simple words, similarity bias can be explained as we prefer what is like us or what is similar to us, right? We tend to treat other people who are like us favorably. Yeah? That is comfortable. They are just like us. Huh? Similarity bias also affects how we understand someone else's point of view, empathize with others, or are motivated to help, right? All of this is affected by the similarity bias that we may have developed unconsciously as well. So, what can I do then? I don't even know I have this bias. How am I supposed to deal with it? What am I supposed to do? So to manage similarity bias, there are two simple things we can start doing right away. One is to ask explicitly. The best way to understand another person's perspective, especially when it is unfamiliar, is to ask about it, right? If someone is disagreeing with you, someone is saying something you don't find familiar, you think it is very different to what you were expecting, ask why, and you will get to know slowly what it is about. Another thing that we can do is find things in common with others, right? So if someone else seems very different to you, find their interests or skills that you share with them, or other similarities that you have. You may be able to find a connect. You may be able to find some music that you share. You may be able to find that you like to listen to some certain people or see certain videos. You may find that you enjoy interacting with your siblings, and they are there. So you find a common ground and then you build on that, right? So find things in common with others and ask questions to understand another person's point of view. Those are the two things that you can do to deal with your similarity bias, whether you're aware of it or you're not aware of it, right? So similarity bias is a type of cognitive bias, a bias that affects our thinking, our cognition, right? And hence it affects our communication. There are other cognitive biases that can affect our communication, mainly two: experience bias and experience bias. In the next video, we can have a look at one of the other biases. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Do drop in your questions, any comments that you have, any suggestions that you have, or any other things that you would like to share. Feel free to do that. And thank you very much for taking the time to come and listen. Thank you.